So here we are, 100th episode. Is the podcast any good?
Is the podcast any good?
Yeah.
The ones I've heard, yeah.
Do you remember?
I haven't heard all 100 episodes.
You heard the Atsuko Katsuka episodes because you're maybe working on something with her.
Mm-hmm. I've heard a bunch. Like, it's a little bit random, the ones I end up hearing.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I'd have to look at my phone to remember.
Okay, I want to know. We're at the 100th. Episode 1 is you. Episode 100 is you.
Right. I haven't listened to those.
When you came on the first episode, the premise was that we were working out the concept of what the podcast is. And there was a funny conversation where you and I had one day where I go, do you like the podcast? And you go, yeah, I like the podcast. And then I go, am I doing anything wrong as an interviewer? Because you're a professional interviewer and I'm just this amateur talking to people. And you go, well, it's not really an interview. You go, it's just you and the person talking. You go, I know as much about you at the end as I know about the person who's technically being interviewed.
Wait, did you take that as criticism?
No.
Because to me, I feel like that's actually the strength of the show. Is like we're hearing two people actually talk the way that they would talk, or as close as you can get it.
Yeah.
About kind of what they're working on.
I agree.
I don't know.
No, that's the goal. That actually is the goal.
I don't know. This whole conversation is making me feel very nervous so far because it's like, oh no, I'm a bad friend. I've only listened to.
You're a great friend. As a matter of fact, Una gave me this. It was a few minutes ago. Una gave me this. It's friendship potion.
Aww.
And yeah, check it out. She made that friendship potion. And
wow.
And I said, well, what does it do? And she goes, well, it helps you try to understand your friends by putting you in their shoes to understand how they're seeing things.
I just want to describe what this looks like for people who are listening. This is a little vial that you might give somebody like crack in, I would say. It's like an 1.5 inches long, a little plastic tube, and then it's filled with a pink liquid, and there's glitter, and there's a shell, and there's a sticker on the outside that says friendship potion, and it's really adorable. Then do you know the potion, are you supposed to put it on like a perfume? Or are you supposed to drink it? Or are you supposed to
I think you're supposed to pretend to, I think you're supposed to just have it.
I'm going to pretend to drink it then. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just tilted back.
Okay,
there.
now that you just took it, put yourself in my shoes.
That's not hard.
Let's put each other in it. Let's do the Una challenge. Let's do the friendship potion, and I'll imagine what it's like to have you to do your job, and you can imagine what it's like to do my job.
Okay.
Do you want me to start?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I run This American Life, and I report on stories of people all over the country, all over the world, and I have to simultaneously report that and then edit those stories and then give notes on like 30 or different stories simultaneously every week. And every week the show has to come together and we put it out into the universe to be heard by millions of people. And it is nonstop.
That's accurate.
Okay.
If at a superficial level.
What am I missing?
You have the big strokes, actually.
Okay.
Okay. And then I think for you, I think like you're just like, I mean, I know you well enough to know you're in between like 5 things at all times. And so, you're working up new material at the Cellar, you're doing the podcast, you're writing a movie, you're like, there are meetings about things. For a long time, you were just fixing the house at the same time. And
my own apartment.
Yeah. And then like a lot of people are depending on you. And Jen has your back and your brother has your back. But somehow, even though they have your back, you have a feeling all the time that it's all on you. That basically if you stop for a day or a week, the whole house of cards falls apart. Like if you decided to just stop working for a month, suddenly like several people would be unemployed, and I don't know. I can't even imagine.
Wow. Your answer is so much more profound than mine. Mine is just technical. Mine's just what you do in a week. Yours is like a existential crisis.
I don't know. I feel like I understand from seeing you in a way that I think is different from who you play on stage, like the pressure you put yourself under.
Okay, so now we're working it out, but with my life.
In fact, I think there's a thing that's interesting, which is, I mean, this is the potion speaking, Mike. This isn't me. I just want to be clear. This is the potion speaking.
It's the friendship potion speaking.
Like, do you ever think about the fact that your public persona is someone who's just eminently relaxed? Like, there's something very relaxed in your presentation on stage. And although on stage, the things you talk about are anxieties and things like that, so it's not just relaxed all the time, but you present as relaxed. But who you are is not relaxed. And then for me, like on the radio, I'm constantly getting into these like intimate conversations with people who are complete strangers, where like they talk and I talk back to them, and there's like a real intimacy to it. But like in real life, like I definitely have people who I do that with, but I think it's much harder for me to get to that kind of like closeness. And if anything, like if you think about like what sort of person would feel the need to invent like a radio format that's built around such intimacy, it would only be somebody who has struggled with intimacy.
Do you think that's true of a comedian who does the same thing?
The same thing in which way do you mean?
Someone who has struggled with intimacy, and I'm being intimate with a live audience?
It's funny, I hadn't thought of it that way, but now that you say that, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think one of the things that Jen said to me recently is she goes, when your special comes out for Old Man in the Pool, you should watch it.
What does that mean? Wait, I don't totally know.
Because the show is all about living in the moment and appreciating what your life is, because it could go at any second.
Oh, that's so smart.
She's like, you should watch it.
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah.
And I said, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I'm not the living embodiment of the thesis of my show.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of that. I'm deeply flawed. I have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
That's why I'm on stage.
Yeah. Like to answer your question, like, like about intimacy, like you guys are way closer than most couples I know. And you have more territory of things that you talk about than I think a lot of couples.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I think like, every couple has a kind of like, there are certain ways that they interact where they actually can feel close. And for some people, it's built around like certain activities, like they love playing tennis together, or like they love cooking together, or whatever. And but you guys have a lot of territories of things that you talk about that are yours, that you talk about more and better with each other than you do around other people, than you do with other people. Like when I first got to know you guys, like the way you guys would talk about movies and the number of movies you guys were watching. It was like watching two people who were like used to living in a bubble with each other, in a way that I really admired. And like there's like a bunch of little territories. And the fact that like Jen is so involved in your work and you're so involved in her poetry, like, and obviously with Una, like there's the whole world of Una. And like, I don't know, there's just like, you guys just have like a bunch of things like that you have like overlap and are able to connect. Whereas, other couples, like there's just the ways that you find an easy connection with the person you love. And then, like other territories where it's just hard to find a easy connection. And you guys just have like a big bunch of them.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's one of the things that's hard about, for example, like in the new one, I talk deeply about our marriage and on stage lately, a lot of the stuff I'm talking about is about relationships and domesticity. And I think it's hard sometimes because everybody's understanding of what a marriage should be or could be is completely different. And so you bring people these jokes, and even 9 out of 10 if they're 9 out of 10 laughing, the 1 out of 10 that is looking at you and going, you're a loser. And that's not what marriage should be. It hurts. And especially when someone writes it, for God's sakes, in a publication.
Yeah.
You're a loser. That person should leave you or whatever. You go like, Jesus. It's it's a lot. But I think that there you do get a return on that. The 9 out of 10 makes it worth it, I think.
Well, you're not going to please everybody, you know.
Saying all this about my life, I didn't intend to have this be the episode where we work out Mike Birbiglia's life, but you know it better than almost as much as anyone because we're close friends. What's your recommendation based on your assessment of that? I feel like I'm holding up everything and it could all crash down and all that stuff.
I don't know. I have a recommendation. I don't know. Like, it's like saying, like, do I have a recommendation for you to change your personality to some other personality that would be hard for you to adjust or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to ask you more questions to have a recommendation. Like, are you unhappy with the way it's going?
No.
Then it seems like there's no recommendation needed. It just seems stressful.
yeah, it's true. Yeah. So you were describing me as thinking that if I don't do all these things that everything will fall apart for all these people. I would throw that right back at you. Don't you think you have that? Don't you think you feel like you have a staff of God knows how many people I won't even say, and all these people in your life who depend on you? It's like, don't you feel that same pressure?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel it that way. Like the stuff that no, my experience of it is just like, oh my God, we've got to get the show out. What are we gonna do? Like we're like, I feel like I'm in it with them.
What's the worst case scenario? When you're saying what are we gonna do? It's like, what's the worst case scenario?
I mean, the worst case scenario is we just don't have material to put on the air and then we do a rerun.
Yeah.
Like, you know, even the worst case isn't like the world doesn't collapse.
But you're saying like, what do we do? What do we do? Like there is a sense of stakes. There is a sense of like urgency. Like I've seen you under pressure. We made 2 movies together in the edit. Like I've seen you be stressed.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we did Sleepwalk with Me and Don't Think Twice together. And there were moments in both of those edits where I was like, literally, I was like, what are we going to do? This is a debacle. Somebody, not me, spent millions of dollars on this thing. And it's a disaster.
Well, just to be clear, $1 million, not millions.
The first one was $1 million, but the other one was 2.5.
Yeah.
But it's like, what are we going to do? And the stakes actually are really weirdly high.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's somebody's money.
Yeah.
Who I care about.
But beyond the money, it's like you just went to the trouble to write a movie. You want it to be good. You know, it's humiliating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, so you're saying like I don't know.
But okay, so this is the beginning of this has taken an unexpected turn, but I feel like it's good.
I don't know. Like I'm editing this in my head, and I was like, are we going to use any of this? You're going to use any of this?
I think we will. My instinct is we will. I mean, usually, tell me if this is usually what we do with the podcast is we edit out the first 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, good.
That happens a lot. Do you find that with interviews?
No, but I'm doing a different kind of interview.
Okay.
Like where...
You're just getting to it.
And if I'm not getting to it, I'm going to get to it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know? So like I know where I have to go and I don't have that much time with the people and it's my job in a way that, I don't know, like it's just like I'm more of a machine. Like I know where I need to go. I know where I need to start it. I know how I can go. Like there's a plan and I'm going to go in with the plan.
What's the thing when you're interviewing people? Because I view you as like one of the greatest interviewers of this entire era, this generation. It's like, what's the thing people don't understand about interviewing people? What's the invisibility of the strings?
I don't know. That makes interviewing sound like it's like more than it is. I think, for the kinds of interviews I'm doing a special genre of interview where I want people to tell me a story, and then I want somebody to have some thought about like, well, what should we make of it?
Yeah.
And so I go in with a little map in my head, even if I don't know the whole story of like, here's where I think there's a story.
Yeah.
And then I know once they get telling it, I wanted to just be sure that each beat of the story lands. Like, as they explain, like this happened and then this happened and this happened.
Yeah.
And then I want to be awake at some point to like, what in the world could this story mean? And so, like what makes an interview good, honestly, is just like if the person who I'm interviewing like really has something interesting to say. And then I feel like, my job as an interviewer is just to like be a normal person and act interested and excited at the parts that are interesting and exciting. So they feel like they want to say it. And then like the greatest weapon to like make somebody say more is just to actually be interested. And that's what makes people open up. And I am actually interested. So that part isn't hard.
Well, in a way, when you and I are working on stories together, whether it's for This American Life or whether it's one of our movies, like you're sort of interviewing me in a certain way. Like you're doing dramaturgical work, which is a type of interview.
Yeah, totally.
And even with like My Girlfriend's Boyfriend, that special originated from a story that you and I worked on together in your office. I remember it, where I was like, Ira, I was in a car accident. I was hit by a drunk driver and I was made to pay for the drunk driver's car. And you were just like, that's just not enough of a story. And you were like, what else happened? What was going on at that time? And you sort of squeezed out of me that Jenny and I were figuring out whether or not we were going to get married. And I didn't really believe in the idea of marriage. And then it ended up evolving into a story about the idea of feeling self-righteousness and feeling like you want to be right about something in relation to paying for a drunk driver's car and not getting married, being kind of bullheaded, so to speak, about it. And the end of the story is, in the end, I paid for the drunk driver's car and I got married. I still don't believe in the idea of marriage, but I believe in Jenny and I've given up on the idea of being right. You and I came up with that in your office. I remember it perfectly.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I'm like, are you just telling your story? Is that just you? Are you just thinking about yourself being obsessed with being right?
Oh, no, it's funny. I mean, maybe subconsciously, but no, I really felt like I like being right as much as anybody else. I think that when you said it, I wouldn't feel as excited about it if it didn't resonate with me. You know? Like, so I was a good audience for it. I don't know. Your question is a good question, but I actually think it's not, and I'd like to yes and it, but I don't think I can. I don't see myself in that story so much. But I think I responded to it because there's a part of me that is like that.
Okay.
And like honestly, like all I'm looking for is like, how do you get from point A to point B? Like that's the thing I'm really thinking about. And if I see like, oh wait, this thing will give stakes to this other thing. The relationship will give stakes to the car crash. Like that I understand. Like most of my day is doing dramaturgy basically on people's real life stories. Yeah. And so just being able to recognize like you can like this beat to this one to this one. I have questions for you on this, your 100th podcast episode. Do you see it differently? Do you interview differently? Do you see working in audio differently now that you've done so many of these?
Yeah, I think so. I think that like, Gary, who's here with me, who works on the show, like he gave me a note a few months ago that was a really helpful note. And the note was, I enjoy the show more when the conversation seems to go where it goes. And I was like, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's smart.
And from that point on, I built the questions, because it's a group of people. It's Peter and Joe and Mabel and me and Nick and Gary. And we come up with, and Seth, sometimes we come up with questions. And what I do is I essentially assemble 2 or 3 ways the interview could go. I have like 15, 20 questions. And usually we only get to about 4 questions. And it kind of goes where it goes.
That seems great. Yeah. So it really is a conversation.
Yeah, because I think that ultimately, like, it's what you're, it's what you're interested in, and what the other person's interested in, what you're mutually interested in is going to be what people want to listen to most. I quote you probably more than anyone in my life because people ask me for writing advice a lot. And then I just say, Ira Glass says this.
What have I ever said about okay.
So what you've taught me is this idea of you tell a story and you give a piece of plot, and then you have a feeling about that plot, and then you give a little more plot, and you have a feeling about that plot, and that's sort of the best way to tell a story.
I like that I get credit for that, since that's just basically the law of that's just like the law of stories.
Who taught you? Then who taught you?
Well, me, trial and error. Like it was
there you
trial
go.
and error
Then you invented it. You're like Aristotle. You're basically Aristotle of the 90s.
No, like it's funny. Like years ago, sometimes I tell this thing I'm about to tell you. Sometimes I tell this on stage, but it's a true story. And like years ago, when I was married to Anahid, we lived across the street from this seminary on the west side, and every night I would take out our dog, and there was this guy named Joe Durbis, who was a seminarian, and you see people every day, and and he had a dog, I had a dog, and you're talking, and like, what do you do? What do you do? And like at some point I was like, well, I kind of invented this way to do a radio show, and it's like this, it's like these stories, and they're kind of funny, but they're also like have feeling, and like basically the structure is like there's plot and then an idea and then plot and an idea and plot and idea. And he's like, oh yeah, that's what they teach us in the seminary.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, that's every sermon.
It's every sermon.
And I was like, no, it's not. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like basically, if you think about a sermon, like you start with something that was in the news or in the congregation that week, and then you say, here's the meaning, you tell the story of that, and then here's what this means, and then you go to some story from the Bible that relates to it, and you tell that story, and then you say, here's the lesson of that one. You go to, it's basically like story, idea, story, idea, story, idea. And I was like, and I really was like, I was like, no, I invented this. Like, and he's like, no. He actually at one point said, like, if you look at Jesus's sermons in the Bible, if you look at Jesus' sermons in the Bible, that's the structure of his sermons.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to the New Testament, and sure enough, like when Jesus tells a story, like the parable of the prodigal son, it's a little plot, and then he actually totally spells out, now here's the meaning of this story, and which means that I accidentally invented something that was like old at the time of Jesus. Because I don't know about you, I don't think of Jesus as like a structure guy. I think of him as more of a content guy.
Oh, that's so funny. Is that your closer?
Yeah.
We're only 10 minutes in. I mean, that's that is so funny.
Yeah.
That's funny though. It's interesting you're saying the thing about like at a certain point you're kind of on the nose about what something is about. Right? Like with Jesus, you're saying at a certain point you kind of explain what it is.
Yeah, you have to explain like here's the meaning of this story.
Well, it's funny because I feel like in so many ways, as a storyteller, you're always trying to avoid being on the nose. But sometimes you do have to spell it out. Like there was a point at which we were making the movie Don't Think Twice. It's about this group of improvisers who they're all trying to get on SNL. One of them does, Keegan-Michael Key's character. And his girlfriend, Gillian Jacobs, and Chris Gethard, and all these other people don't get in. And the test audiences, and this was before it came out, and it people really ended up really liking it or whatever, but the test audiences were brutal. The early cuts were brutal.
Oh, I remember.
And you remember what the two women said at the one screening?
Wait, which thing are you talking about?
We did a screening at the Green Space, WNYC, for just public radio listeners. I remember where I was hiding behind like a piece of equipment in the back of the room. I'm like peeking over, and Ira goes, what do you think of these characters? These two women go, we don't like them. You go, why? Because they're losers. To this day, you and I have used they're losers as like a catch-all.
Yeah.
But it's, of course, that's what the movie's about. It's about theoretically lovable losers, and we're all losers.
Relatable losers.
Relatable losers. We're all losers in a way. But then you came up with, from that, you go, we need a movie. We were in the edit with Jeffrey Richman and
the editor,
and who also edited Severance, brilliant brilliant, wonderful editor, and you said we need a moment where in reshoots where somebody says what the goddamn movie's about. and so we came up with, I think it's my line, but it might have been your line. The line is Chris Gethard goes, and we filmed this in post. He goes, your 20s are about hope and your 30s are about realizing how dumb it was to hope.
Yeah.
And the point of the line is they get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think,
I remember also when we wrote that scene, he had like 2 or 3 other lines too, because we're like, is that the one that's going to land?
Yeah.
And then we could pick which one was good.
Yes.
And I remember we tried to think, what's the setting for this scene where they should do this? And honestly, that's one of the things that I've really liked about doing movies with you is that problem of we know this needs to be said, and so like what is the location and what's the action that would lead somebody logically to say it? And then we invented they're going through boxes in storage of all the stuff from the early career. So they're looking at old pictures of themselves when they were first an improv troupe, and old like costumes and stuff. Which is so fun to like invent. And then they do it. Then you go like people build it and then it's there. And then like they're looking through the stuff. And so he has a reason to like reminisce and look back and have that thought. And like that's a thing that in my day job doing documentaries, you just don't get to do is be like, oh God, somebody really needs to say something smart here. And then you can just write it for them and invent a setting and things that don't exist. That was like, I love that about making fiction.
So the other thing that you kind of famously said about writing in general and being an artist is that when you're starting out, when you're 18 or 20, all you have is your taste. And you hopefully have good taste. But you can't possibly make the thing that you admire. And if you work hard enough hours, hopefully what you're making ends up being as good as your taste.
Right. And there's this gap when you're trying to make stuff and you know that it's not as good as stuff that's good. And then most people die in that gap and they just stop creating work. And then you just have to soldier through it and just keep making work. It's the only way out.
How can we continue this interview?
What do you mean?
You just die in the gap. Most people die in the gap.
Yeah.
It's such a dark thought.
But they do.
Most people die in the gap?
Yeah, most people quit being a creative person. Like they give up the guitar, they they stop making, they stop writing screenplays, they give up their, their free stand-up nights because they're like, it's just not going that great. And they're just like, okay, they don't fight their way through it.
You're absolutely right. It's true. Yeah, majority of people don't, they can't bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Here's a question that Mabel had on our staff, which is like, how do you know if your taste is good?
You don't, but I'll tell you God.
But like, I know people whose taste isn't good, but they think it's good. And it's like, is there hope? Or am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
Do you know people whose taste is bad who are actually making work and trying to make good work?
I do. I feel like I know people who love that famous thing that you famously said, and I don't think they have great taste. And I don't know, but they make things. I don't know.
I mean, in the end, you're only going to make something as good as your own preferences about what's good.
Right.
There's just there's no changing that. So if you have bad taste, the fact is though, like your taste evolves as you make stuff.
Yeah.
Like you learn to like more sophisticated things.
You do, when you're touring, you do the thing with 7 Things I've Learned.
Mm-hmm.
Is there what's the most recent thing you've learned?
I mean, that show is sort of like just a grab bag of any story I want to tell under the title 7 Things I've Learned. What's the most recent thing I've learned? I don't have a most recent thing I've learned that I feel like I can name. I feel like I'm perpetually relearning the same things of just like, there's a certain kind of just giving into the chaos of a story that I just find very enjoyable. like I feel like some of my favorite stories are ones that when they're first pitched, I think like there's no way that's going to work, and I don't see it.
Yeah.
And then just because there's something about it that's and then suddenly like somebody will explain it away. I was like, oh my God, and I get really excited. There's certain things I feel like I have to relearn all the time, like I feel like I'm constantly having to relearn how to talk on the radio like I really talk. I feel like that's always a struggle for me. I feel like I'm constantly having to learn again, like, oh, if I just get in and do the interview and then just try to have fun, it'll be fine. Like that'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like just do the loosest, easiest, don't sweat it job.
Are you guilty of the same thing on the radio that I am, which is you sound relaxed, but you're not relaxed?
On the radio, I sound relaxed, but I am kind of relaxed because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like a nervous person who gets on stage to do stand-up, and that's the most calm they are.
That's my answer for earlier.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's funny because you just answered the way I should have answered earlier. You're like, your persona is you're calm, but you're not calm. And it's like, no, I'm calm on stage.
And it's because a place where you can finally control everything. No, that sounds like
right.
a negative thing. Like you know what you're doing and you're calm. And for me in an interview, I feel very calm. But I feel very alert. And I'm thinking of like, a lot of different things about how the interview is going. But yeah.
Yeah, that's right though. It's the control.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's because everything in your life is out of control. You get on stage and there's at least a simulation of control.
Yeah, and it's the same thing in the studio doing an interview or out in the field doing an interview. It's just like I understand the ground rules of this interaction with another person in a way that you never get with real life.
You have another famous line, which is great stories happen.
This is a weird interview. Why are you quoting me to me this whole interview?
Oh, I thought it was good.
Oh, okay. I stand back. Okay.
No, because I want to push you to elaborate on it.
Okay.
Because sometimes like some of these things you say, they're great.
Okay.
And then it's a little bit like a Yogi Berra quote where you're like, wait, can we get Yogi in here? We're not.
Okay.
It's not over till it's over. Talk to me about that a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
One of them is great stories happen to those who can tell them.
Yes, that I didn't say that.
Are you serious?
I'm quoting somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's credited to you all over the place.
Yeah. For some reason, that's credited to me, but that's a really old saying.
I swear to God, there's parts of the internet where they credit me with comedy is tragedy plus time.
Really? That's a good one, Mike.
Like, how do I fact check that one for them? That's not me. That's not me. I mean, I say it a lot. I live by it. It's my whole comedy career is based on it.
Yeah.
But I didn't invent it.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't invent great stories happen to those who can tell them.
No, that's an old saying.
Okay. The other one is,
but it's very true, and I feel like I live with the consequences of that all the time. Like for me, like since I'm building shows around interviews, sometimes we get into this situation where something amazing happens to somebody who just doesn't know how to tell the story.
Yeah.
Which is so incredibly frustrating as a
my
radio
gosh,
producer.
yes.
And because radio is built around the quotes. And so if they can't tell it, you really, actually, it really defies radio.
yes. You don't have an example for that, do you? You can't say, probably, because it's rude.
Yeah, it would be rude.
You once said, you will be stupid, you will worry your parents, you will question your own choices, your relationships, your jobs, your friends, where you live, what you studied in college, that you went to college at all. If that happens, you're doing it right.
Yes. I said that in a graduation speech. Yes.
What can you say to people who listen to that and go, that's easy for you to say, successful person?
I mean, it took me a really long time before I was successful. Like my entire 20s, I was like kind of lost. And what would I say? I would say, I don't know. That's my truth. Like, that's all I got. Like, I think it's true. I think, there are people who have programmed their life, and when they come out of high school or they come out of college, they know exactly who they need to be and want to be, and that's amazing for them. But I think for all the rest of us who really see the wide variety that the world offers and the difficulty of the choice, I think that trying to choose correctly and understanding your incompetence in the things you try. Like, I don't know. I think that's a way so many thoughtful people enter into adulthood. And like it's hard to pick, and it's hard to get good at something, and it's hard to figure out who you are if you're not going to go in some cookie cutter format. And if you're not the sort of like person whose innate natural confidence takes you over that hump gracefully. Like, I feel like some people are so sure of themselves. Like, I feel like I know a couple of people like that who were just like so sure of themselves, like that they were, just who they are so easily. But most of us come from families where, like, for the good or bad intentions of our parents, like, we just didn't get the kind of confidence to be that. And so that's what we're left with. And I think it's a lot of us. And if other people don't have that experience, well, good for them. But like those of us who know what it is to be weak, like have to say reassuring things to each other sometimes.
I found out this thing about my dad recently. My brother Joe was talking to my dad, who's 83, and he said that, and this was a complete revelation to us. My dad, who's a doctor, went to law school, never wanted me and Joe to go into comedy at all, said, I thought for a period of time that I could write for Saturday Night Live.
Really?
Yeah.
Was your dad funny?
I don't know. I mean, he's alive. He's alive.
But wait, when you think of your dad as a kid, was your dad funny? Like, my mom was funny, and my dad is like funny-ish, but definitely like...
My dad is very dry, and my mom is a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Put those together, Ira. No. Similarly, your dad worked in radio-ish. Like,
my dad worked in radio when he was in college,
Yeah.
and immediately after college when he was in the Army, but like he stopped before I was born, in part because I was born.
Wow.
Because having two kids and went into public accounting, I didn't know him as a radio person, like, so it wasn't like a sort of like, oh, my dad did that, like, so I might do that. Like, I didn't think of that as part of his identity, and if I knew it, I kind of didn't really know it in a real way.
Okay.
Until after I was already in radio, and then
Yeah.
like scrapbooks came out and stuff.
Yeah. It just made me, Joe and I were talking about the idea of like, are we able to do just essentially what our parents wanted to do, but absolutely couldn't do?
Oh, that's so interesting. Have you ever heard of the thing that Rilke says, how children dance to the unlived lives of their parents?
Oh.
Now, if you just put that on the internet, maybe somebody will attribute that to me.
Oh, that'd be great. No, me. Mike Birbiglia, Birbiglia. That's me on the phone every day. B as in boy, IR, B again, IGLIA.
Yeah.
Always get it wrong.
Yeah.
The don't wait till you're older or in some better job than you have now. Don't wait for anything. Don't wait till some magical idea drops in your lap. That's not where ideas come from. Go looking for an idea and it'll show up. Begin now.
Yes.
You said that?
Yeah. No, I say that to a lot of like, beginners who want to make stuff want to do creative work. Like when people ask for advice, that would be my very first advice is like, don't wait.
What's the tactical? Is it free writing, journaling? Like what? Start what?
Start making anything. Like, I think everybody thinks like, oh, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And actually you don't have to wait. And like one good thing about, doing radio or doing journalism is like you don't need permission from anybody either. You don't need an institution. You can just start writing a thing. And I guess that's true for comedy too. Like, and for any creative thing, like you don't need permission. That there's downsides to a creative job, but one of the upsides is you don't need permission. And I feel like people stall and people get in their own heads.
Okay, this is the slow round. Can you think of a time that you were so scared you ran away?
When I first lived in New York, I lived in New York for a couple of years in the 80s. And so it's pre-Giuliani New York, and I lived on the Lower East Side at the corner of Rivington and Allen. And it was an illegal sublet that I paid $145 a month for. And there was a bathtub in the middle of the living room, and the whole place smelled a little bit of like rat poison. And it was tiny and barely any light, but I could afford it. And I was, 23 or 24. And I remember my sister Randy, side note, worked on Wall Street for Goldman Sachs and lived in a 3-bedroom apartment on the Upper West Side.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, she can never see this place. And I also remember going to her apartment and thinking, like, not only could I not afford this apartment, but there's literally not an object in this apartment that I could afford.
Wow.
You know, like
Yes.
that plate. I couldn't buy
Yes.
that plate,
Yes.
like that glass. Anyway, so this is the Lower East Side, and it's pre-gentrification Lower East Side. And in fact, I remember at night, I would get off the F train at 2nd Avenue and come out, and I would have to walk south 3 blocks. And literally, like I was like a suburban kid. Literally, there were prostitutes in short shorts and like halter tops, and there were crack vials all over the street.
Wow.
And there's projects right there. There's like public housing right there. And I remember thinking, like, when I first was there, I was like, oh my God, it's just like in the movies. It's like, I feel like the prostitutes were so on the nose. I was like, this is so exactly. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I know it's not cool to run, but I'm just going to run home.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do.
Like every day.
Every night.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like people are often surprised when you say that you're a fan of Howard Stern, because you're like a king in public radio, and people don't equate Howard Stern and public radio as being even in the same universe almost.
Right.
Do you think there's a similarity between what you do and what he does?
Oh, that's such an interesting question. There is in the following way. Like, I haven't heard Howard in years, so but I used to be like a regular daily listener back when Artie was on the show, which I think it was like the heyday of the Howard Stern show. And like Howard Stern really, really understands radio. And there's an intimacy and realness to the conversations that happen on that show that are the essence of what good radio is. And he really understands how to make that happen. And then he just invented a bunch of stuff that anybody who understands what radio is really, I think, you have to admire. Where the format of that show that he invented is that he's got a set of characters. In a way, it's like I remember like an older friend of mine who was a regular listener compared to the Jack Benny show.
Yeah.
Which is like the oldest TV, variety show. And he says, because you've got a set of characters and each of the characters. You got Jackie and you've got Artie and you've got Robin and you've got Howard and you've got the Whack Pack. And
Stuttering John, yeah.
Yeah, Stuttering John. And you have feelings about each of them. And then the game of the show is that he basically invents things for all of them to react to hour after hour after hour.
Yeah.
And then you just get to see their personalities come out. And that's really good radio.
Yeah.
And then also, he's really like one of the most amazing interviewers alive. Like, he gets stuff out of people you can't imagine. And because he has the whole group, there's a kind of peer pressure thing that he can work.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And then he's just interesting. He has it's funny because like I remember listening at to the radio and just thinking like the parts where he would have like a stripper come on were always like the in a way like the least interesting thing. I remember thinking like there's a woman taking off her clothes and like that's not even interesting compared to everything else they do.
Yeah.
And then but that was like but also it's like understanding an audience too and being like, well, let's just do a thing.
Yeah.
That'll just seem like, anyway.
It's a lot of trial and error too.
There's a lot of trial and error. Yeah, I just really think he understands how to get a group interaction working, and he understands the emotional currents that are happening between people and knows how to make that funny.
Yeah.
Like he just invented a thing. And
you've never talked to him.
I don't think I want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like he'd have anything to say to me.
Yeah.
Like I remember I wrote an article about him in the New York Times Magazine years and years ago, like talking about how great he is. And then he talked about it on his show.
Yeah, I heard him talk about it.
And it was clear like he had no idea who I was.
No, totally.
Which is fine. Like I didn't expect him to.
He was like this guy Ira Glass.
Yeah. I don't know who he is.
I don't know who this guy is, but this guy loves me.
Yeah. It was very much,
Had a real bravado to it.
Yeah, which is fine.
It has his bravado.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a song that makes you cry?
I mean, this is like a really embarrassing thing to say out loud in front of other people, I think, but it's a song from a Broadway show. It's Sarah Bareilles' song from Waitress, Used to Be Mine. And even when you see people cover it, on YouTube, it still gets to me. Like the point of view in the song, like she's looking at herself, or the character is looking at herself, and saying like, most days I don't recognize me, and I'm not anything like I used to be. And she's talking about herself. Like, she's imperfect, but she tries. She's good, but she lies. She's hard on herself. She's broken and won't ask for help. She's messy, but she's kind. She's lonely most of the time. You know what I mean? And like, just like the whole thing has that point of view of like looking at herself and as a broken person.
That's beautiful. I love that song. Can you remember something you got away with when you were a kid? Did something wrong? Stole something, broke something, got away with it.
That is so not what my childhood was. My childhood was so the opposite of that. I was such a rules follower. Like, I wouldn't cut Hebrew school. You know what I mean? Like, or school. Like when I've grown up, I met people who would cut school. Just like the thought of cutting school, it's as if you would ask me to take a knife and murder somebody. Like, there was no stealing. There was no. Yeah.
Wow, what a rules follower you were. And then you...
I remember when I was in middle school, when I and my friends were making movies, making Super 8 movies, we did a film called Diary of a Mad School Teacher that like had like we had scenes that were an entire classroom where the classroom would go crazy. And I remember I stole my dad's razor, not understanding how a razor works. So like some girl could be shaving her legs in class as part of like a wide panning shot across the classroom. And I remember, and then I didn't understand that you should take out the razor blade. Like, she cut herself, Susan Henkin cut herself on the razor blade. I didn't know that was a thing. But anyway, my dad, and then I forgot to bring it back. And my dad was just like, what happened to my razor? Like that was an act of theft I did.
You're a lightweight.
Yeah.
I mean, you do worse things as a grown-up.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Like I've been to plays with you where it's you, me, and Jenny, and you stand up after the lights come up and you go, well, that didn't work.
But it's true.
And you're literally saying it out loud.
Well, it's not like I work for the theater.
I am a man of the theater. These people know me. I can't even be with the person who says that didn't work.
Well, we don't know anybody in fucking the Tom Stoppard, Leopoldstadt. Like, we don't know anybody in that play.
That's not the show. I loved that show, but we did go to that show recently.
It had a couple of scenes that were good, but whatever.
Oh my God.
Good actors. But like, I'm just saying that like, nobody cares if I don't like a show. I don't know.
Do people ever, am I the only person in your life who calls you out on that? Like, just vocalizing opinions like that?
We're at a theater. I can have an opinion.
I'm saying, are you surrounding yourself with people who other than me, who don't call you on that? Has anyone else pointed that out to you?
Yeah.
Oh, this is what I really wanted to ask you. What's your favorite joke? Like, kid's joke?
Oh, a kid's joke? It's funny. I don't know many kids' jokes. I can think of this joke. Why is 8 afraid of 7?
7, 8, 9. I mean,
yeah, classic. That's all I got.
I tell that one all the time.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. Like I have actually a counter joke to that. I have a yes and to that.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about how the fact 7, 8, 9? 7's a murderer. That's like my observational comedy version.
That's observational humor.
Child joke.
There's a joke
it's a murderer on the loose. His name's 7.
There's a joke
and we're laughing about it.
There's a joke that Tammy Sager told years ago that I think is like a perfect joke. But it's anti-Semitic. The joke is, what did the Jewish pedophile say? Hey, kid, easy on the candy.
Oh my God. It's so dark.
Well, she's Jewish and I'm Jewish, so we can tell that joke. Okay.
My God. Oh, you're taking out your notebook to take notes.
I am.
And I've told versions of this cancer story. And I think we've arrived at something that is pretty good for This American Life. And I'm gonna do it from memory. In the past, I've read it, but I'll just do it from memory because I feel like you'll get the idea of the in-between.
Okay.
So when I was 20, I was driving home from college for Christmas break. And I pull over at a rest stop to pee, and there was blood in my pee. And it was a very specific type of blood. The moment it would hit the water, it would explode like fireworks, like poof, poof, poof. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. And it was particularly demoralizing because sometimes when I'm on a road trip, I'll have sort of a water drinking contest with myself to see how clear I can make my pee. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll drink a ton of water, my pee will be clear, and I'll be like, yes. So when it was fireworks, I was like, I lost big time. I get home late at night, I wake up my parents, I tell them what happened. My dad's a doctor, my mom's a nurse, and so they know bloody fireworks are not a great sign. My dad takes me first thing in the morning to see a urologist friend of his. And he asked me to take my pants down, and I start chiming in with my own theories because I find doctors enjoy that when you view the medical visit as sort of a collab. I said to my urologist, and I can never unsay this, I said, is it possible that the blood is from me masturbating too often? That's something I said out loud to my dad's friend. Based on his reaction, if a urology drinking game exists, I think that might be the phrase that pays, because he was entirely unfazed by this question. He goes, no, that's not it. And then he pounded a tumbler of whiskey from behind his desk. And he said, but I am worried about the blood. He goes, I'm going to have you come in to the hospital tomorrow morning and put you under anesthesia for a cystoscopy. I didn't know what this meant. It's when they take a camera and they stick it through your penis to look into your bladder. You're probably thinking, Mike, a camera can't fit through a penis. Good news and bad news on that front. Good news is it can. Bad news is the same as the good news.
Can we pause? What is this part of the piece from? Is this from the recent show or is it from an older show?
It is from the recent show, but then it goes in a different direction than where I take the story.
Okay.
Recent.
All right, good. Because I know I've heard this many times. Still funny. Yes.
So next morning I wake up. I'm 5:30 a.m. My mom drives me to the hospital. I'm so nervous. I'm anxious. I'm lying in the hospital gurney. They put the IV in. I'm shivering. You know, I fall asleep. And while I'm under, they find something with the scope. They said they're going to keep me under longer so that they can take it out. So as I'm coming to, I'm high on the drugs, and I'm someone who's not very good at getting high. Like, I'm the person, if you're smoking pot with your friends, I'm the guy who's like, do you guys hate me? You know, like, who's at the door? Who's at the door? Who's at the door? Why does my heart hurt? Is that rickets? You know? And I was high with my mom, which is not the first time that I've been high with my mom, but it was the first time she knew. Mm-hmm. And so I wake up and they explain they found something in my bladder. It could be cancer. They don't know. They're going to do a biopsy. They should know in a few days. So I go home with my parents, and I'm in the kitchen with my parents, and my mom says, I think it'll be okay. And my dad says, you don't know that. They were sort of the good cop, bad cop of cancer. And then I had a memory at that moment. I go, oh, as I was coming from the drugs, the nurse told me that while I was on the drugs, I thought that she, the nurse, was my mom. And I told her, Mom, I love you. And my dad goes, she should not be telling you that. Which means not only does my dad not tell me he loves me, but he's very discouraging of other people even relaying it. So I went up into my bedroom in my parents' house, and I was there for 5 days, and I didn't talk to anybody. I mean, this is something I never thought would happen in my life. Because I'm someone who, who talks quite a bit. You know, I'm talking. I'm doing. If you imagine a room full of people, I gathered you here for this, but for those few days, I thought I was going to die. I mean, it just silenced me. So the biopsy comes back a few days later. It turns out it was cancer. It was a malignant tumor in my bladder. I was very lucky. They caught it very early. So they decided they weren't going to do chemo or radiation because maybe it was an anomaly. And maybe it was, because I go for a regular cystoscopy. It hasn't come back to this day. But that week, when I saw the urologist, he actually gave me the pathology report, a printout. This was the 90s. And it said all of the things about the tumor that they had taken out and the size of it and the margins, all that stuff. And he said, you're very lucky that there were symptoms. You know, not everybody gets symptoms. Not everybody gets blood in their pee. And if you're ever feeling down, just take this out and remind you of how lucky you are. And I feel like we all talk about stuff like this, right? We always talk about how we should all feel, so much gratitude for life itself, and that we're able to even have this moment together right now, and I actually have a physical reminder of that precise thing. I have a thing that I can hold in my hand to remind me of how lucky I am. And I never really look at it. That's it.
Wow, the ending really lands an ending. Okay. All right. Well, structurally, it's very solid. Like, the main things that I notice are, like, right now, the most laughs you're getting, like the most actual jokes are the stuff that's in the show, right? When he
the camera through your penis,
right? All that
the good
stuff.
news and the bad news,
yeah. At the beginning, I feel like it might be right now. You pee, and then you see the fireworks, and you say it's demoralizing because I have this water drinking contest, and I think that's in the wrong order. I think the bit should start with, when I'm in the car, I have a water drinking contest.
As the start.
That's the start. And then you go to see if you won the water drinking contest. And then that's when you see the fireworks.
So in other words, would you say even before, when I was 20, I was driving home from college, like, would you open with like an observation? Like, sometimes when I go on road trips, I'll do this thing where I have a water drinking contest with myself to see how clear I can make my pee. Would you open with that?
I would.
That's interesting. That's a good idea. It's worth trying, certainly.
But I feel like somehow we've got to figure out a way to make that a little funnier. Like, there needs to be I feel like it's
pretty well with the crowd. But I think it's relatable. I think it's a thing that we've all maybe done a variation on, and we've never heard it vocalized.
But I wonder if, like, you want to sell that even more, to sell that joke more, that you would come in and you could say, like, I mean, this is really a hacky version of it, but like, on a long road trip, people do different things to stay awake.
Yes,
I'm sure you all have things that you do. Some people open the window and sing with the radio. Some people do this. What I do, or what I did when I was in my 20s.
That's nice.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then I have one more thought about the beginning. You could also lead with something that indicates that that you're going to die, like something that indicates that sometimes you get really bad news in a form. I don't know, like
something that's like.
I don't think it's a strong thing though, but like there could be something at the very top that would throw stakes onto the whole thing. So we know we're listening for like some fucking big bullshit's going to go down. But actually, I think with this piece, you don't need it, and it's going to fuck things up. So never mind.
Okay.
All right. So that's one thing I notice, is that like structurally that didn't seem like as pure as it could be. And then you're pretty solid through the visit to the urologist. And then after the guy says it could be cancer, that's like a big emotional moment.
Yeah.
And later you're going to be really sad about it. But I actually think that you should have a feeling about it right then.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a really big plot turn to not react at all to. Instead, your next line is like, I go home with my parents, and then we're in the kitchen. Your dad is saying this. But I think that whole scene is going to play better if we know that you're freaked out.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be good if we could invent like some sort of analogy or something to where you would say to the audience to understand just how freaked out I was in that moment. And then we would think of some line to go there or just something. Like it would be good if it could be a double duty because actually you don't have a laugh for a little while. And like I think you should either play the emotional moment or there should be a joke, or ideally there would be both there. But I think definitely you want to react. It's weird that
That's
you
interesting,
don't react.
Yeah. No, I think that the real feeling that I had, and I think I've had this a handful of times in my life. I think I had this when I was hit by the drunk driver in the story we worked on together for your radio show. Like when things are so surreal in your life and it's scary and life-threatening, I think there's just a dissociation sometimes, at least for me.
That would be totally a great thing to say. That would be a totally great thing to say. And then where do you go?
I don't know. I mean, you mean where do I go with saying that observation?
No. When you dissociate.
Oh, when you dissociate, where do you go?
I guess I'm just saying, like, can that set up? I think that seems really true and real. And, but then I wonder if there's a version where the next sentence you say is like, and so for me, at that moment, I'm very far away. I'm looking down on the room and he's just like a Muppet. Doctor,
Right.
You're like it's like watching Grover give me. I mean, every joke I'm saying is terrible.
Well,
but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like again, if we could think of a line that would be,
well, you know what?
About how dissociated you are.
Well, I wonder if it's something in this universe. I've written jokes in this space before, like in the Bill Hader episode. I think I told a joke that was like this, which is like sometimes in your life things get so strange. You go from being in the movie to watching the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, wow, this movie's sad.
That's good. That's good. That totally would work. Have you used that on stage?
No, I've never done that.
Oh, that's really good. Wow, this movie's sad is the punchline. That's great.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
This movie's sad because you don't even.
That's perfect. That's so good.
Because you don't even. It's not even sad when you're living it because you can't grasp the gravity of it.
You don't even need to say that.
Yeah, no, I know. I
love that. And I think that's going to sell. And also, I think that that's a good joke.
Okay,
too.
I'll try with an audience.
And then you go home with your parents and in the kitchen. And then I feel like I've asked for this in other versions. I feel like you're rushing too much.
With the parents.
Yeah, there should at least be one more back and forth.
Okay.
And then
the parent scene it's definitely progressed a lot since you and I started with it, like a couple of years ago on the show, 3 years ago. Because we started filling it in with memories from my parents. But you're feeling like it needs one more beat with the parents.
I just think it's a funnier setup than you're using. I just feel like there's just something there that you're not mining. And I think we're not totally explaining it too.
Yeah.
Like your mom is like, I think it'll be okay. And then I don't think in this performance you kind of rush through. I mean, I know with the real audience you wouldn't, but like, you don't know that. Like that's a really funny thing to say.
Yeah, that does well.
And then I think there's just space to say something more interesting after that. First of all, they could go back and forth again.
Yeah.
Like your mom could try to be like, what I'm saying is though.
Yeah.
Like, Mike's so young and usually these things are fine. And then I could imagine a version where you even would say to the audience, like, my dad has to deliver a lot of bad news to people, and he views it as a badge of honor, not to sugarcoat. And so even if it's my kid, like, and my dad cares about that more than he cares about me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like I just think that there's like, it's just, I mean, I don't know. If it's not interesting to you, you shouldn't run down that road. But I find that dynamic is really rich. You have 3 characters on stage at that point, and you should just do more with them. I feel like you're kind of wasting it.
No, I get what you're saying, and I have to say, like having a child now and knowing what that would feel like to find out news like that about my child
Right.
would be, I mean, it's unspeakable.
I mean, that would be my pitch, is that they'd have one more go around if your
Yeah.
mom says, like where she just says to you, don't listen to him, you know how he is, and like gives you a hug and like, you're going to be fine. And your dad gets even madder.
Yeah.
And like, and you say, and then you would explain it to us. Like, so we're adding 2 beats, one more round between them. And then my pitch is that then you would explain, just so you don't think he's crazy. My dad like operates on people's brains and has to deliver a lot of bad news. And, and a bad doctor doesn't tell you the truth. And he's had to deliver a lot of bad news. And he takes it as a point of pride that he doesn't bullshit people. And that principle is more important to him than me. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
funny.
That's the sell. And then
That's funny. But I could also sort of build on that and say, like the dissociation thing we're talking about, we could point out in relation to my parents. Like, you know, and I'm a parent now, and I know that if that was my child, like I would disassociate from it. I would be
I thought you were going to.
Or I would say I would be in the movie. You know, you have to realize my parents, they're in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm still watching the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Or it could just be like, could be the kicker to like, that's more important to him than me. And of course, at the time I'm watching this, I'm not in the movie. I'm just watching thinking, those parents are not very good.
Oh, that's interesting.
Go back
I like
to
that.
like, go back
that
to
seems
like,
nice.
Those parents are not, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
something in that universe seems good.
Yeah, like you're still watching the movie.
You're just saying sort of like scene paint and find more jokes in the universe of the family dynamic.
Yeah, and I'm specifically...
I think is the overall note.
Yeah, and I feel like you could do anything. I'm pitching, you know, you have the beat that you have where he says her thing, his thing, she says her thing, he says his thing. I'm saying just do one more round. She says something, he says something.
Yeah.
And her thing could be as simple as, you know how he is. Dude, of course you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then he gets madder. And then my pitch is like, you explain him.
Yeah.
So beat 1 is like, you know, another round between them. Beat 2 is you explain why he says this.
Yeah.
Leading to, if you like this joke, but if you don't, then don't. You know,
Yeah.
of course, like, you know, like that's more important to him than me. And then the next beat, the third beat would be you talking about like, of course, I'm not in the movie. Like I'm still just watching the movie, and then some thought about that, and then go to the like you telling your mom the thing.
This actually speaks to something that I'll talk about in a second, but it's like, I think what I'll probably do with this is I'll take this mishmash of like ideas of expanding this area and also kind of improvise on stage and sort of see what's there.
Oh, that seems fun.
In the space.
That'd
because
be great.
like,
I know.
I've been touring lately. I did DC and Providence. I've been doing small rooms. I'm doing like a bunch of stuff in New Jersey and Philadelphia coming up. And like what I'm finding is I don't know what my next hour is about. Like I literally don't know. And sometimes I'll just go up with something like that where it's like a half an idea, the dissociation concept. And I'll just be like, what happens if I start talking about this? And when I'm put on the spot of like, come up with something that works, my brain kind of configures something. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but the experiment of it feels very alive.
That seems great.
So I'll try that.
Like, again, if you go this route of explaining, here's why my dad said that. He cares about that principle more than he cares about me.
Yeah.
Like you could call back to that after, she should not be telling you that. And you could just say, now to just understand, the reason why he's saying that is because a nurse is not supposed to whatever.
Yeah.
And he cares about that principle, a very valid principle, and he cares about that principle more than he cares about me.
Yeah.
You know, like you could just totally call back to that. And then all this stuff, the biopsy comes back, you're lucky, blah, blah, blah. The only thing I would say in what to do is like, and I know you're just like freestyling here, is when he says you're so lucky, I remember like in the original pitch, he said something like the odds of us catching this, like, very, like he gave a number. I like in this telling, and I know you're just freestyling, it's just like, it just has to seem very unlikely that they would have caught it. Like we almost never catch this.
The statistical probability of it's so low.
Yeah.
Of them catching it that early.
Yeah.
And getting all of it and then not having to do chemo and radiation.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay.
That seems great. That's great feedback. So how close are we, do you think, to that story being good enough or strong enough for your show?
Oh, pretty close.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's got a sound structure. It's got an ending. It's got a beginning. Now it's just filling out potential.
It's a huge victory for both me and the listeners.
Why is that?
We've been on this journey together, 100 episodes.
That seems like a good place to end. I mean, the charity that I've been giving to the longest, that I started giving money to when I was in my 20s, is Oxfam America, which does aid work around the world.
Well, we're going to give to Oxfam. We're going to link to them in the show notes. I'm going to contribute. We're going to encourage the listeners to contribute. This is the 100th episode. You were the first episode. You're the 100th episode. Hopefully you'll be the 200th episode.
Inshallah. Let's hope.
Thank you, Ira. And if you ever feel like I'm not grateful enough for all that you have taught me, call me and I will talk your ear off for an hour about how grateful I am. There's I sing your praises far and wide, and I hope that I'm being grateful enough. Special where you go, and this is the part of the special where my mom turns it off.
Yeah.
I feel like that about my entire every special I have.
Do your parents watch your work?
Not really.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Oh, Sam?
I mean, they'll watch it if I'm like, can you watch that?
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't do that. I don't really ask them to. But they have. I think they've watched at least my second special, and probably my first because they were in it. I would imagine they were curious.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it is an interesting thing, and also like your dad is a poet, so it's like in some ways it's not that dissimilar from even what you do. Poetry.
Yeah, I wonder like if that's why sometimes I'm like, there's something about what I do that's too close to. I mean, I wouldn't call my act poetry.
No, I would though.
In any way.
I know why you wouldn't, because you don't want to.
That would be crazy,
self-serving and pretentious.
That would be too.
But I think there's a lot of poetry to what you do.
That's nice of you to say. Yeah, I mean, I think first I was like.
And sounds.
Lots of like. I think first I was just talking to Gabe Liedman and Max Silvestri about this yesterday, because we were like, why did Gabe's parents, they like always drove from Philly to see us at Rafifi.
Oh, that's sweet.
And
that's when you and I met.
Yes, exactly.
A zillion years ago.
And you know what, I mean, what that was like, you might have 14 people in the audience, and that was fine.
No,
like,
I performed on your show. There was definitely nights where there was 14 people.
Oh yeah, it fucking sucked. I mean, we didn't suck, but
wasn't.
It's just...
It didn't suck though, because it was, you guys were always, and I'm sure the podcast will be like this. You guys were always so supportive and fun, and you made the show fun no matter what. Like, it was called Big Terrific, and it was like, it was just joyous.
It was, and it was always, but that deeply humbling, like, whoa, I really must want to do this because I'm performing for 11 people thing that's like in my in me now.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'll just never forget what that feels like. And like performing for 6 people, but like on the nights where there would only be like maybe 3, and then you have to be like, you know what, guys, we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
And then I would be flooded with relief that I didn't have to do the show, and then flooded with shame that it happened that way.
Yeah.
That's a real 1-2 punch right in the nads.
There's nothing worse than calling off a show that you convinced those people to show up.
Those 3.
You're like,
yeah,
no, it's gonna be good.
Yep.
We have a great lineup.
They believed.
Eugene Merman's popping in.
Yeah, totally.
This is happening. And then you go, actually, we're not having the show.
And then you have to say that to Eugene, by the way.
Right.
It's not even, it's like, and actually I am going to have to tell, John Glazer and John Benjamin, who I am so obsessed with that I can't even talk to them or look at their faces, that we actually didn't get enough people to come here to watch them.
It's so pride
do a favor for me. Yeah. It's like, you eat shit.
I think it's good.
It's good.
It's good, right?
For us. Yeah, no, it's some pride swallowing or whatever is actually just bad for a person's self-esteem.
Right.
You know, like, I fucking hate tough love, and I feel like weirdly we've talked about this before, but some things, honestly, I mean, not to sound like a hybrid between like the greatest generation.
Yeah, that's how you always. That's how you read for sure.
Geriatric millennial, but it's like some challenges, some humblings that are not, oppressive humblings, but
Yeah.
like it's just, hey man, you're just like a tiny speck, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Are very character building
Yeah.
and passion building and appetite building.
You did improv with Gabe in college, right?
Yes. I did.
And Max or no?
No, Max didn't go to college with us. We met him when we were 22.
So you did it with Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Did you started the group?
Yeah, well, it was like something else. It had a different name. There were two groups. One was called Six Milks.
6
I don't
Max.
know. Six Milks. I don't know why.
Were there 6 people in the group?
Honestly, when I say I don't know why, I'm telling you, I got zero info. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like I really was
Okay.
like, why is it called that?
Yeah.
And then the other one that Gabe and I were in was called Two Left Feet.
2 left feet,
You know,
sure.
it's like, okay, got it. You guys are joking around. But anyway, we combined the two groups, created a new group, which was called Fruit Punch. Again, why do college students name their stuff
It's all puns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what does that pun even
Mission
really
Improbable.
That's
a classic
direct.
one. Yeah, true.
mean? You know?
What's the one you were in?
Fruit Punch.
Fruit punch?
Which
I guess
was
it
my
means you have, like,
idea.
a
I don't know what
belly-
it means.
A belly of fruit,
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean,
Fruit
I don't
punch.
think
It's catchy.
it's catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Were
like
did you have good shows as Fruit Punch?
yeah, we killed it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I bet there were some good ones in there.
I mean, who knows really what it was like, but for me, I was like, we are so fucking funny. Like I
yeah.
I thought we were
Oh
so
my
cool
God.
and great. Yeah.
You gotta, right?
You met Kroll and Mulaney doing improv? And Jackie or no?
I cast Kroll cast a year after I graduated, Mulaney and Novak. And so that's how we all became friends, and we were all kind of living in New York at the same time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, like, how I feel like even though Fruit Punch maybe was hit or miss, and maybe you had great shows and terrible shows,
Yeah.
like our group,
Yeah.
I can see it in your work. Like, I can see the I can
improv?
see the improv.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you have an improvisational spirit to your stand-up. Your stand-up
For
feels
sure.
unpredictable.
Yeah, or unplanned is
Unplanned,
the word
unpredictable.
It is. I mean, I follow a like a bullet point system.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what you have here
Yeah.
behind you, that's what it looks like on a page before I go up, and then I like shuffle things around as I'm going, and nothing is ever like written because I find that to be very boring.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I have some stuff I say, like to a turn of phrase,
Yeah.
but everything else it's like, who does she want to be tonight?
Right.
Yeah.
I love your stand-up though, because it feels unrehearsed, and it doesn't feel like anyone else.
That's a nice thing to say. I feel the same way about you. Jeez.
Thanks.
How much writing do you do?
I write a lot.
Yeah.
So much of it's just junk.
Well, for all of us.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you have to like, I just feel like you kind of gotta like blow out the pipes.
Blow
Like,
out
get
the
all
pipes.
the gunk out of the pipes.
Yeah.
Like write all the bad stuff and the good stuff. Just like keep writing it down.
Yeah.
Is my deal. But I have a folder called Scraps,
Scraps.
like on my computer.
I respect that so much.
Scraps.
Scraps.
There's also one called, I think it's called Fragments and Problems.
That's good.
Yeah. And even in my first special, which was with Netflix, they were like, can you write out what you'll do? And I was like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, it'll ruin it. It'll make me feel like I hate it.
Yeah.
I just have never once written anything out. Everything just has a title, like Dad's Nightgown.
Right. I have a similar thing, which is I'll write out the bit, and then I will go up on stage and do my best version of it
Yeah.
from memory.
Yeah.
And it usually it's not what I wrote verbatim.
But isn't that kind of like, I mean, not that I've ever been on a date that is like this, but it's how I imagine dating to be. Or just like dinner party, let's say.
Yeah.
This is like the metaphor that I've used is like, you know your memories. Like, and you probably know, not in a
Right.
sociopathic way, but you probably know like, oh my gosh, yeah, oh, I can't wait to tell you the story.
Yes.
Like the other day I was telling Rachel Antonoff and Jack Antonoff, brother, sister, who I call, my husband calls them the cousins.
The cousins.
My cousins. We're very Amish. I told them this story about when I was on a summer program and I had a crush on a boy. And I was like pretty sure that we were making eye contact across the cafeteria. And at the time, Romeo and Juliet had come out like with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was obsessed with him.
Fishbowl scene, etc.
Just
Fish tank
so
scene,
yeah, big time. And I loved that movie and whatever. And like it was like a big point of my like raging horniness, you know. And I was like, this boy looks like him, and he is straight up looking at me. And I had like recently. I was 16. I'd gotten my braces off. I'd just gotten my period. I had a bra. It was like a big deal for me.
Big moment, yeah.
Huge. And I started hanging out with him and a bunch of people in a group. I had a nickname, which was Duty, which is not a good nickname, but I thought it was cool.
So you were ready to go.
Yeah. Now I'm just telling the story, but I'm telling the story in service of trying to say something else, unfortunately. But anyway, I was like, this guy likes me. I had never kissed a boy before. I heard him and a couple of boys in the room below. I was on the balcony above and they were on the balcony below and they didn't know I was up there. And someone was like, yeah, we're going to go out and da-da-da-da and Duty's going to come with us. And I was like, oh my God. And he goes, who's Duty? And I was like, oh man, he doesn't even know my nickname. And then they're like, you know, Jenny. And he's like, who's Jenny? And I was like, what? This fucking guy, like he's definitely been staring at me. Like he doesn't even know my name.
Brutal.
And then one of the other boys goes, you know, she's that girl that looks like a chicken. And then he goes, oh, no, I know what you mean. She's that girl that looks like a lizard. And then they were like, no, she looks like a chicken. And then it was like, chicken, lizard. And it was like, oh. Like it just hurt. It hurt so badly.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, like, huh. Like I walk around being like, everyone thinks I'm ugly, but then there's like this other part of me that's like, you're not ugly. You just think that because people are mean to you at school.
Right.
But then I heard them like say it.
Confirmation.
And it was like, we were in another country. Yeah. It was like, this is like, we're in England and they also think it. So I need a little more time to cook this thing. But anyway, that story, for example, it's like, you know your stories.
Right.
Why would you write them down?
Right. You can remember that.
Yeah. You just tell them to the person and try to feed their joy that might be happening.
I always have to remind myself of that because I write out jokes and then I have to remind myself, like, just do it in my own words.
Yeah.
Because that's what the audience craves.
Yeah.
They just want to hear the story.
Yes.
My director always says that to me. Like, I'll get nervous before a show and I'll go like, just tell the story.
Yeah.
I'm like, right. All it is just telling the story.
Yeah, but there's a lot to get past to be the version of yourself that can do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
well, you had it with, you went to a hypnotist.
Oh, yeah.
Is that early? Like, was that like when I first met you kind of thing?
No. I had no, I used to have stage like kind of like fun, uncomfortable excitement. Like all through Rafifi, through being at Soundfix or Cameo, like when we were in Williamsburg. And then I just got stage fright when I got fired from SNL. Like straight up, it like it like fucked me up a little bit. And I moved to LA, and there were 3 years also where like I did this thing where every general meeting I would go on, I felt like I had to be like, I got fired, like say it even though nobody cared. And
right.
It was like a weird like swollen but collapsed ego or something. It just was like the worst situation.
No,
like,
of course.
Fucking sucked. And then. But Nick Kroll was like, I'm doing a show on Comedy Central, which became Kroll Show.
Kroll Show, yeah.
And he like gave me my first job after being fired, which meant so much to me because I admire and really admired him so much, continual admiration forever. But I still had the stage fright, and I believe Nick was going to the hypnotist for like something else, maybe smoking. I can't speak for him. And
let's just say smoking.
Maybe smoking. I think Aziz went to the same person.
Oh, okay.
There were all these people going there.
I gotta hit that hypnotist.
I'm not sure.
How come?
I don't think
it sounds like it worked.
Like maybe enough.
Nick doesn't smoke anymore and you get on stage.
It did help to get me back on stage. And to get rid of like a lot of the kind of like undead at the door.
Yeah.
You know, like every time we watch The Last of Us and the like, what are they called? The clickers?
The clickers.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like
my
around. I'm
gosh,
like, that's what it feels
yes.
like to have stage fright.
Oh, that's interesting.
They're like they're right there, and they're like,
yeah, yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. And I still have it really badly to the point where like I haven't actually done stand up in a really long time.
Really?
Yeah.
So you still have it?
Yeah.
I mean, what's crazy is, I was just saying to my wife downstairs, I was like, Jenny Slate's coming over doing the podcast. And she goes, do you remember that right after she got fired from SNL, we ran into her at something? And she was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I fucked up so badly.
That sounds like something I'd say.
And we were both like, you're going to be great. This is going to be great. And then notably, you went on to have like this unbelievable career that I would say arguably between Marcel the Shell and Obvious Child, like arguably you might not have had time for if you were on SNL for fucking 9 years or whatever.
For sure. No. It's better. The end result is better. The life that I've had is really good for me.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like not any version of myself that has ever kind of failed that publicly, and hopefully like not again. I mean, it wasn't, it's weird to fail at something that you get there and you're like, I thought I was good at what this is, but I didn't even get what it was. Yeah. I thought it would be like my college improv group.
Right.
And then it's like this whole system.
Right.
And it's a TV show.
Yeah.
And there's
cue cards.
There's cue cards, which obviously I wasn't good at. And there's like politics, but it's also social. And it was really confusing to me because everyone was so nice, like in my cast. But it was like, this is a weird fit.
Yeah.
And like I'm going down. But it's different than, let's say, having a soulmate and it not working out. Like where you're like, I genuinely don't get that.
Right.
We were meant to be. Like the second I walked in there, I was like, this isn't what I thought.
Right, because I always have thought that about that show. I've always been a fan of the show, but I've thought like I would never fit in the cast or as a writer because there's so many moving parts and you have to like you're saying, like it's regimented and you have to hit your mark in like 10 different metaphoric ways.
Yeah.
And I feel like for my comedy, that would feel stifling. Like I feel like it would take away from the spontaneity.
Yeah, precisely.
That like I need, and it sounds like you need. I mean, even like you cursing is hilarious because it's like it's actually kind of a great actor's impulse.
Oh my God, it is. In a way, it's like it's so me.
Yeah, totally.
To make such an embarrassing mistake. And like I hate getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I would never, I don't like make moves.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not like I'm certainly not a believer in like all press is good press. Like I'm not interested in infamy, certainly not at that point. I like getting A's, you know, like I was really feeling good about getting on the show. There's no need to zhuzh it up with like just like eating shit right away, you know, like I don't know. But also like, yeah, it is such a weird, in the way that it's very me that happened. It's also so outrageous and so not me because I like to try to get things right on a larger scale that like I don't really remember it happening at all.
Yeah.
And it was so scary and embarrassing that the only thing I remember at the end is like Seth hugging me, and that I thought that was so nice, and Andy Samberg like being really nice to me.
Yeah.
But then kind of being like, wait, is this like a big deal?
Yeah.
You know, because I literally had walked out of Williamsburg. I wasn't like a UCB person.
Right.
I had no like, I was obsessed with SNL in the way that probably like Adam Sandler was growing up or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't do any of the stuff to get there that most people did.
Right.
I was like a major rando.
Right.
And then I fucked up. So that's like crazy.
Yeah. That is crazy. But then it ended up going so
fine.
well for you.
Well, this is what my astrology says.
Do you go to an astrologer? Or you just read your astrology?
I read it. I listen to it every week. Like I have an app, the Chani app, which I very much love. I'm not like a person that won't sign a contract when like Mercury's in retrograde or
Okay.
whatever. I'm like not super strict about it, but I do
I didn't
like
even
it.
know people did that. But
Oh
yeah.
they definitely do.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not gonna like be like, can we sign this contract when it's Mercury in retrograde?
Right.
But if it is in retrograde and it's the only time to sign, it's like,
What are we gonna
I'm gonna
do?
fucking do this right now. I'm not signing a lot of stuff. DocuSign. But anyway, my astrology says like every like great like epiphany, great success, big love, something like that, is sort of twinned with a door that closes or like a darker doorway. Yeah. So maybe that's happening to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true. Well, but I mean, like,
kinda general for
I feel
everyone,
like
though,
you have
right?
one of those quintessential careers though, where people go like, I want to have a Jenny Slate career. Like they
Did
go,
you think that?
yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
of
don't. I
course.
mean, it's your podcast. You can
I
cut
don't
it out. Because I think of you as someone that's like you're really successful. You have your like you're like Broadway success too, and they're always like pictures of like don't know if I've seen this, but I imagine it's like Tom Hanks with you at backstage at your show.
He came to the last one, yeah.
Oh wow. Because I have not used social media in like over 3 years.
Oh.
And my assistant will post for things I ask her to post for me.
Okay.
But I've made like a concerted effort to just, I don't even peek in to
Yeah.
not look. It's
Oh,
like,
wow.
you're done.
Good for you.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is drugs. It makes me feel bad.
Right.
I'm out. But like, do you ever feel like you're in the process of, trying to like ascend or building or, you're not fully in the final zone you wish you would be in? And again, that is a question that maybe is too embarrassing to answer.
No, I don't think it's embarrassing. I'm good with it. It's just so big of a question. I'm trying to break it apart. Like, I don't think there's any more ascension.
What do you mean? Like you're calling it?
I think I'm calling it.
You're gonna have to tell Eugene Merman that we're not doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Only 3 people came to your career.
Exactly. 3 people showed up to my career. We're going home. No, it's, you know what it is like, I feel like what happened was I started out and I was like, I want to be up there.
Yeah.
And ascend to whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I was high enough to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
For the people living it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like doing my own stuff artistically at the same time and going, oh, I like this.
So you're kind of talking about fame.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, and I was
You're
not.
talking about life ascendancy?
I think what I was talking about was opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't feel like when you're like, oh, you had this career, people say they want a Jenny Slate career, and I'm like, I audition.
Oh, right.
Like I would love to be at
As opposed to being offered like the leads in movies and stuff.
Yeah, and actually I really like auditioning, and I sometimes like will be like, actually, can I let's just make sure you want this, because I don't like that feeling.
It was just you just announced that you're in a movie yesterday.
Yes.
Did you audition for that?
No.
No, okay.
But when I got there, I was
Not
like,
so fast, Jenny
are
Slade.
you sure Chris Pine wants to be in this? I was like, oh my God, and then I had to like ask him.
What?
Well, I don't look. It's not the best way to be. I don't like
That's
how I
very
am.
funny.
But it's like no, I didn't have to audition for that.
Did you call him?
Did what?
Did you call him?
Like today?
No.
Oh.
To ask him whether he
Ask him
wanted
to
you
his face.
That's so funny.
I mean, yeah. And
So you were just like, hey, are you good with this? Me being like in a romantic comedy with you kind of thing?
it is not a romantic comedy. If that's what you think it is, you're going to be a little bit sad when you see the movie.
It's sad. Okay.
But no, I think it was like part of a more unfolding conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, where it was like, well, I don't know. It's like revealing your insecurities.
Totally.
And like kind of having to check. But it's not like a fishing thing. It's more like, I think for me, in terms of the ascent or whatever, it's like, I feel like I still have to like prove myself.
Wow.
And that maybe is a good thing. And might be only in my head. But like, I think in a time when I mostly function as an actor, I guess, and it doesn't feel like it's the easiest time in the industry.
Yeah.
It's like, I think my goal is to be at a place where it just doesn't seem like so hard.
Right.
But maybe I'm making it hard on myself, but also I don't think so.
But I think the thing that I'm speaking to is like, well, obviously, like, first of all, like, you in Obvious Child is a great example of like you playing a character, but it's in some ways a variation on the type of comedy you do. And you really like owned it in this way that it's kind of an iconic film. Like people are like, that's, you know, one of those great indie films. And then the other one is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, like, is a great example of like, it's so personal.
It's so personal. Yeah.
I mean, you and Dean created a thing that is like really like alt comedy. And then it became like a mainstream movie.
Yeah.
So in some ways, like, that's what I'm speaking to. It's like that you did these things where people go, you can do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. I think a lot of people, especially a lot of artists, even a lot of fields, go like, how come I can't take my indie art thing that I love and this small group of people like loves?
Yeah.
They're like, that's my thing. And then how come I can't take that and make that the thing that I go out with?
Yeah.
And like, you did that.
That's true.
Moment of silence for that.
Room tone? Or?
Room tone.
Yes, and I think that's, and it's not that I love that movie and Dean and our work that we did together. But I think also it's like, I really am job to job in a good way. Like, I don't take much from the stuff that happens after the job is over. I like a photo shoot, you know, like I think that's like fun to get dressed up.
Okay.
In like a big weird dress or something.
Sure.
But once the job is over, I just get hungry again to perform.
Right.
That said, I'm like not a workaholic and I'm very fine making like one movie a year, or like the year that I made Dying for Sex, which I think is the last time I saw you.
Yes.
Like I made 2 things that year, and I was like, "You're like, I can't work any more than this."
Right.
You know, like I'm not a workaholic, but I do want to. After you're done performing, and you're a performer and you love it, you're like, when do I go again?
Yeah.
You know, it's like just being on a water slide. It's like, can I go again? Can I just go again?
Now that you're in New York, I'm going to just try to convince you to do stand-up all the time.
I think I want to do it again.
Do you feel like you could do Big Terrific again, or are you done with it?
Oh, no. I feel like we could do it again.
Yeah.
I feel like now that we have our podcast that, you know, like my dream is like we tour around with that, and it kind of is like a new version of it.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean,
people would love that.
God, it would be people, meaning definitely me at least. One
yeah,
person.
You'd love it.
I would love it.
I think everyone would love it.
Yeah. And I miss Max and Gabe. They don't live here.
Right.
But I think, yeah, I mean, and you know, my daughter's almost 5. Like, there is a feeling in me now that what I talk about on stage needs to be thoughtfully sorted. Yeah. Not like, I'm not going to say like clit or whatever, right. But it's like, I don't want to talk about her. She genuinely can't say yes or no about it, and I don't think that's fair. Mm-hmm. But there's still, it turns out, a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about outside of her. Yeah, I had that recently where when my daughter turned 10, like, I'm not going to talk about her anymore because I think at a certain point, when they get to a certain age, it stops becoming general what any kid would say, and it starts to become very specifically what that person's saying. Yeah. And then, like you're saying, and like, as opposed to like when I was doing like the new one, for example, like, well, yeah, that could be any baby. Right. Literally any baby could say that or whatever. Yeah. Do you think you'll show her Marcel the Shell? Yeah, I have showed her a little bit of it. She's kind of young though. Yeah. You know, like, she's like, well, what are they doing? Right. It's an interesting mashup of like, it is for grown-ups. It's for grown-ups, and it's for kids. Like, it's a little bit in that kind of Pixar space of like, it's very sophisticated. Yeah. It's like, it depends on the kid too. Like, when she was 2, we tried to, like, she hadn't watched anything yet.
Yeah.
And then we, like, all got COVID. And I was like, maybe I should show her Marcel the Shell, but I just felt too weird about it.
Yeah.
So I showed her the, like, Winnie the Pooh from the 70s.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cute.
Yeah. But I think eventually she'll like it.
With Marcel the Shell, I was rewatching it this morning, and what stuck out to me is, like, it's so funny, and then it's, like, unafraid of being sad.
Yeah.
And it's, like, I think my favorite thing about it.
I'm glad you think that, because I guess that's, like, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to do anything to make myself sad, and I certainly don't want to do that kind of, like, grad school short story. Like, I wrote a story about something really upsetting so that the story can be serious and good. Like just kind of not that thing, darkness to seem legit. But, like, there is something about being sad essentially, like, not being acceptable, just like sort of baseline sorrow.
I agree.
You know, that makes me feel scared. And I mean, I also now, like, take an antidepressant, which has really changed my world, but, like, went through a lot of years of, like, why am I always, as a friendly person who likes to have fun and, like, likes romance and chilling out, why am I so sad?
Yeah.
Like, so sad.
Yeah.
And it just felt like if I couldn't try to talk about that or get into it a bit, it really was as if I was, like, lonely for that part of myself that couldn't be included, which made it worse.
It's that's a lot of times that's my favorite kind of comedy, because it acknowledges in the silliness that also there's sadness.
Oh my God. Like, my favorite things to watch when I was little, now I realize how much, like, kinship or support I felt from, like, I mean, even Pee-wee weirdly feels sad to me. Like, when Pee-wee loses his bike, it actually is really fucking sad.
I love Pee-wee.
Pee-wee is the best. Or, like, you know, Peter Sellers to me is like, there's so much sorrow in there. There's so much sorrow.
And of course,
Chaplin, so much
Yeah.
in, like, Harpo Marx. There's so much just delicate, weird, twinkly sorrow. And, like, Mr. Hulot's Holiday, like the Jacques Tati movie, my dad showed it to me as a little girl. And I remember making fun of him so much and being like, this is so boring. And then watching it as an adult with Dean and watching all the other Tati movies and being like, this means so much to me.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And Gilda Radner was, like, a little bit sad.
Oh, yeah.
In her happiness and her jumping around, there was, like, something about, and a lot of it, I guess you could just see in her body.
Yeah, I think, like, the best performers are, like, letting you in.
Yeah. They don't have to be sad. But
That's right.
yeah.
But it's just, like, there's, like, an openness.
Yeah.
Where it was like Jodie Foster once said they said, why are you private about your personal life or whatever? And she was like, it's all in the rules.
Yeah.
And I think it's true. She's like, it's all in these rules.
Yeah.
It's all out there.
Totally. It's just, like, represented differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's costumed or whatever, performed.
Yeah. So in Marcel, what part of you in real life it has Marcel elements and what part it doesn't?
I think Marcel is, like, way more succinct than I am.
Yeah.
I think I'm, like, painfully long-winded no matter what. Like I was just recording a new cartoon and they're like, okay, like, you know, will you do the line and, like, just, like, say a little bit more?
Yeah.
And, like, the riff was, like, 5 minutes. You know, it's like, I can't use this. It's just too long.
Yeah.
It just unwound too much. But I think, like, at the end of the Marcel movie, the last monologue where he's, like, talking about needing space but not wanting to be totally far away from other people and liking the sound of himself connected to everything, like, that is, like, an improvised bit that I had said at another time that eventually went there, I believe. And that to me feels like my kind of central state and ethos, and also why I love living in Brooklyn again is, like, you can be with other people you can be a true introvert extrovert combo
Yeah.
and get it all. And you know, there's that. And then also like Marcel is really when he says like I don't want to just survive, like I want to have a good life.
Yeah.
Like I am really that. I seem to have, in spite of all of the things that can get me down, an inexhaustible appetite for life's small beauties and for creating little playful games to make things that would be boring just out of like autopilot, like this is boring. Like the last piece actually in my book that came out last year, Life Form, is called The Graduation Speech, and it's about why it's so important to like play games in your daily life.
Yeah.
And a lot of the way that Marcel gets through his state of being left, abandonment, is by making a game out of things that would be tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Oh, there's a Marcel line. He goes, "Guess why I smile a lot? Because it's worth it."
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, it's a big deal. It's true.
Did you play on the set of that? Like, was it just like, what about this? What about this? What about this?
On the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had like a very heavy treatment, and then some scenes would be like written out. It was just so much improv.
Yeah.
And then Dean and our co-writer Nick Paley would like listen to the audio. Sometimes they would be able to put a scene together with audio that was there.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, well, we were really getting to something. Or like the plot of the movie actually needs to change now that we see this. And then they would like write a scene.
Right.
And then we would record and improvise again. So it was like a really big.
Like a work in progress.
Yeah.
Like always. Yeah.
Yeah. But also it was like, you know, during that, like Dean and I were getting divorced. And we were recording
In the middle of that.
at the start. We told our like Cinereach, the people who gave us the who funded the film, I think we told them that we were getting separated like right after we signed the deal to do the movie with them, so we hadn't even started recording yet.
Wow.
And then and we were recording in the house that we used to live in. And there are parts of the movie where like Michelle, which is, you know, what the movie's called, where Marcel, there's also a joke about Marcel being like, oh, like I mess it up too. Like I mess up he's like, oh, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
I do that. Yeah. But where he's like talking about, I think like what happened when his family got moved in the suitcase, and he's like crying, and you hear Dean say, like, this is the last thing we'll do today.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I wouldn't break character anyway, like, unless we were, like, eating lunch.
Yeah.
I would just be, like, not, like, in a method way, but, like, we were just always recording, and we had the microphones taped to our heads, literally, on, like, a little sweatband, and, like,
I would just, like, be like this. I was just, like, talking, like, hang out, like, you would just, like, ask me whatever you want, and I would just, like, kind of stay in this state of mind and just, like, hang out and just whatever might come up.
And it was like that. And then, but you can hear him be like, this is the last thing we'll do today. And you can hear me as Marcel be like, you know, like it just, I don't know. It was a really weird thing that we did to do that. But it, I think, allowed us to be the people who, like yesterday, I was like, hey, do you want to have lunch? You know.
That's what someone wiser than me once said, that about that's the difference between film and television, is that television is serialized, so it's like a chemistry experiment, and film is like a biology experiment because it only happens once.
Right.
It's like, that's an example of like, that's in there.
Yes.
Like your personal relationship and your collaboration, it's all in there.
And the movie is like, I mean, not to be like such a douche, but like it is an organic form that happened in those conditions. And I think we were even planning on kind of a slightly different movie, and yeah, I mean, it all fed into that, and it didn't. Even the parts that hurt or were painful were not. They were not dead weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's cool.
Emotional stuff. You did a graduation speech. Is this true for one person?
I did.
How did that even happen?
They asked me And I said yes.
They say it was one person?
Yeah, because
No
it was
way.
so Cuttyhunk Island is like the smallest, I believe, of the Elizabeth Islands, like the islands that are, the famous ones, like Martha's Vineyard, where my parents live, Nantucket, and then there's all these like other little ones. And Cuttyhunk is one of them, maybe not the smallest, but either way. And they had a one-room schoolhouse, and and their very last student was graduating from it, and there weren't any more kids on the island. Yeah, her name was Gwen, and I spent like an afternoon walking around with her, getting to know her.
Yeah.
And then I gave a graduation speech just to her.
My gosh.
I mean, her family came, and the Islanders,
Right.
and my husband, and I think my in-laws came.
What did it feel like?
It felt exactly like giving a speech to a big class.
Yeah.
It except that like, because a lot of it is like, at least for me, and I think for many people, if you've like given a graduation speech before, and weirdly I've done it like a couple times now, you got to get past the like, who the fuck am I to be telling these
Of
kids
course.
what they should do? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I am really not the one,
Totally.
and like I kind of resent having to do it.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
didn't to her, but it's like, I'm not sure that I have this for you.
Yeah.
But then the other side of it is like this exciting thing that I felt the first time that I gave a graduation speech, and I felt it again, which is like, it's so beautiful out there.
Yeah.
And actually, I am the one to tell you about it because I feel it in a really specific way. And my advice to you is like, find out what your receptors are for like feeling what you like about life. Like it's, whatever. But I liked that I could tailor it to her and give her like specific compliments.
Yeah.
And that I could give her like a big send off.
That's really great wisdom.
It was really fun.
Figure out what your receptors are.
Yeah. Because actually,
That's huge.
Once I did, my life got a lot easier.
It's so crucial.
Yeah. Like once
You got to figure out what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, well, especially, that thing that you said before about like, if you've seen anyone that is, let's say, like, unfortunately, like, really hampered, limited, or maybe like sort of incarcerated by fame, like they can't go to the grocery store and they want to, like everyone has different experiences with it. But like, if you see something that you're like, oh, I actually don't want that. Like I don't want to play one role. I don't want to be Urkel or whatever. Like I don't want to play one role forever, so I can't do anything else.
Right.
Those kinds of things, like you can start to know, like, oh, okay, I think I know what I want in terms of like that thing. But then there's another thing that happened, like when we made Marcel the Shell, which was like, I've been looking at something out of the side of my eye, sort of assuming that it couldn't ever be in the center. And I've never looked at it hard enough to understand what it is. But like, I like helping people feel both like as if I just threw open a window, but so like a dose of freshness, but that they're comfortable, but without being like sappy about it. Like I like nice, pretty stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a Geico commercial. I'm not like sassy. I'm not like sarcastic, and I'm not dry.
Yeah.
And like I like it in like remember 3-2-1 Contact on PBS?
On PBS.
Like when a flower blooms in fast motion and it looks a little shaky. Like I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff, and I'm supposed to be finding that. Like in my daily life, I'm supposed to be finding it. And in my comedy, I'm supposed to be finding it. And it's not like a gross, like, mandate, like a cult leader thing. It's more like, this is my appetite. It's totally consistent in my private life, my private moments, and in my larger, like, work. And once I figured that out, I was like, oh, I don't have to try to be on, like, 3.5 Men.
Yeah.
I don't have to have that goal.
I believe that show's called 2.5 Men.
2.5 Men. What's the other one with the 3 guys? They're dorks. What's it called? Bazinga? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big Bang Theory.
That one.
Yeah,
3.5. I mean, clearly.
Big Bang Theory. I don't have to be on Two and a Half
What did
Men.
I say? The Big Bang?
You're talking about all my favorite shows. You're trashing all my favorite shows.
Oh my God, I'm not even trashing them. I just mean, I was like, I never felt like normal enough to like be on those shows.
No, I get it.
You know?
No, I mean, the thing that you're saying, I think, is really.
I hope that didn't come off as like being shitty to that.
What are you talking about?
You know? They're off the air. They all did a great job.
It's funny.
Plummeting.
Well, what you're saying though, it's really hitting me hard. That thing of like wanting to understand your receptors and then be open to, new things and seeing and having the wonderment about all the things. For me, the worst is when I know that and I can't do it.
What is that like? Like, what's an example of that?
Like literally feeling like walking around.
Oh my God,
my daughter off
that's
at school or something like that, and then being like, I just don't feel like I can take in the wonder of the world, and
yes,
I fucking know that I should.
Well,
I know that's the answer, and I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's when I think when I can tell that like there is like depression happening in me, because it's not like I'm walking around being like, there's a bee, there's a like I'm not like an alien.
Yes, you are. I've seen you.
I mean, I will say a couple days ago, I like caught myself like staring at like a what are those things? It's like a machine and it
like a prize grabber machine at an arcade.
No, like a
like a forklift.
Yeah, but it has the big scooper.
Okay. Yeah, but like at a construction excavator. Sure, yeah.
And I just was like, fuck yeah, man. And it was like not on. Like it was nobody was operating.
Yeah,
and
even
I was
just
like,
existing at all.
Yeah, and then I was like, I've looked at it a bit too long. Like if anybody saw me doing this, they would be like, what the hell? Like, oh, what are you doing looking at that?
Right.
But then
you're doing it right.
I was doing it right. And then I went to the Montague Diner and I broke my gluten-free lifestyle and I had a beer and a side of french fries by myself and I listened to two old ladies behind me in the booth.
The best.
Talking about their sunglasses.
Oh, overheards are the best.
Oh my God. Can I just tell you one thing I heard?
Please.
Okay.
It's much better, by the way, than television or movies.
Oh my God.
Overheards are as good as it gets.
They're so old. Okay. Like, and they know they are. It's not me being like, they're old. It's like they were old. They were very elderly. They're in their 80s.
100, 200 years old.
Right. They were 300 years old.
Yeah.
They come in. They're like, I'll have scrambled eggs. The other one's like, scrambled eggs as well in an iced coffee. Then they don't get anything else. I'm like, you guys are gonna blow out your stomach lining. Like, what the fuck? You're so old. You better have some bread, girls.
Yeah.
But anyway, they didn't. Then they're like talking. They were literally talking about the Senior Citizen Center. And they're like, you know what I love? The improv classes. And I'm like, the improv classes. I am like tightening up. Like I was like, it's like the emotional version of like getting hard or something. Like I was oh, like I love that they're doing this right now. I was like standing on end, listening to them. This lady's like, oh, well, I know why you like the class because Stanley's your guy. And then there's a weird silence. And the same lady goes, I know he's been to your apartment.
Oh my gosh, that's good. That's good tea.
It was like, have you seen the episode of Seinfeld where Jerry tells George like maybe what Elaine said during sex and George squeezes the ketchup and it like ejaculates? He's like, and it like, and then he looks, it's like the best acting in the world. Yeah. That's what, like when I heard, I know he's been to your apartment. I was like, I'm dead. I loved it. But anyway, I was like, oh, I guess I do what maybe you might think I do.
Sure.
I'm like doing my life.
Yeah.
But when I am in a more kind of like, she's down, folks.
Yeah.
Moment, which is not great. One thing I notice is that I understand what is so beautiful. And what are normal beauties that are there, and I can see my separation from them and that I have no receptor.
Yeah.
And it compounds the feeling of isolation, and I feel scared.
Yeah.
And I have a deep sense of like, what's wrong? Something's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the difference between like, being like, watermelon is so beautiful, and then being like, watermelon's stupid.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the same fucking
Get
watermelon.
that fucking fruit out of here, man.
Get the
How
fucking-
you know why it's here?
It's a mess. This is a mess. Why is everything a mess?
With seeds? Forget it.
The same thing. We went to
Yeah.
an apple orchard last weekend with my daughter. It's like, this is the most beautiful thing I could possibly behold. And then like later in the day, I'm like, I'm tired. This sucks.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like it's all
Normal.
it's all the sides of the same thing. But
Yeah.
this is the slow round.
Okay.
What are people's favorite and least favorite thing about you?
In my life,
Yeah.
I would say like my husband's favorite thing about me is that I always want to talk about like what's happening here, and I would also say that's his least favorite thing about me.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some similarity on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you jealous of?
I'm jealous of
The follow-up question is, who are you jealous of that you didn't say but you thought of?
yeah, like I'm like jealous of like Tilda Swinton.
Sure.
You know, because
Who
it's
isn't?
like I don't wish her.
No one wishes.
I don't
no
wish
one
her
wishes
ill.
No one wishes her ill.
I want her to live
Tilda,
for
if you're
a
watching,
million
we're wishing
years.
you well.
I just think it seems like she fucking figured it out.
The body of work stands for itself.
Yeah.
The Tilda Swinton canon
Yeah.
is gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
No, I
know?
get it.
She seems like she's doing it, and
Yeah.
I want to do my version of what she does, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Tilda, if you're listening,
Yeah.
we want you here.
Let me know what I
Let
should
us know.
do.
Let us know what we could do.
Like I heard her on like an interview where they were asking her like the most intense questions,
Yeah.
like kind of about like political things and stuff. Like she had no fear. She was
Yeah.
she just had all this. She just did everything. She said everything. It was really cool.
Do you remember a time you were caught in a lie?
Yeah, in 5th grade, I read Roald Dahl's autobiography,
Oh.
and he faked an appendicitis,
Oh.
and I did that. And
Oh, really?
and I was like, oh.
Did you get the idea from the Roald Dahl book? Uh-huh. Wow.
My mom took me to the doctor, and I knew just what to say. I just wanted attention.
Yeah.
But it got taken too far, and they took me to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And they gave me a series of like very aggressive enemas.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I was lying. But it was too late. I didn't
Wow.
have
Talk
any
about a
shit left in my
high-stakes
body.
lie, exactly.
Yeah.
My
And they were like, we
God.
can't figure out what's wrong with her. It's not her appendix. And I was like, I was lying. And
Oh my
so I wasn't
gosh.
even really caught in a lie. I just got taught my lesson. Wow. Don't lie or you get the shit pumped out of you.
With friends and family, what topic do you worry that you talk about too much? That's a new one.
I worry that I tell my parents too often that they need to go to therapy.
That's great. And they never go.
No, they
And they're
don't
like in
go.
their 70s.
Yeah.
They're not going to change.
And I'm not saying in that sort of reality TV way,
Yeah.
like, you need therapy. Like, it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but I remember that being a thing. Everybody should go the way they should go to the dentist. That's what I think.
Yeah,
not
if you
everyone has
can.
the means or
Sure.
the time.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not an insult. It's
No,
not
it's
like
not
you're
an
hysterical,
insult.
you're
Yeah.
mental. It's like, hey, you seem to be grieving.
Yeah.
Maybe you should talk to someone.
What do you daydream about?
Sometimes I have a really specific daydream that I've been cast in a movie where I get to sing like a pretty song,
Yeah.
and that I'm singing it at the table read, and everybody realizes that I'm like a lot better than they thought.
It's really funny. Your notebook. What do you call it? You call it like bips and bops or something?
Well, that's on my computer. It's problems. Well, no, I have scraps,
Scraps.
and then fragments and problems. I think.
Fragment. Are you open to sharing any scraps or fragments and problems today on the show?
Oh, I have one thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and I can never make it work. I always feel like I come off really mean on
Okay.
stage when I do it. So basically, like I was just trying to, or maybe I'm just old and people don't think what I'm saying is funny, which is like a terrible, it might be.
I doubt that's it.
A comedian in your 40s, you don't know. But anyway, it's that like how weird it is that my husband's not doing this, so also he gets implicated. The whole thing doesn't work. But anyway, let's say it's weird that my husband can look at like a picture on Instagram of like his friend's cousin in her bathing suit.
Right.
Because if he came into the bedroom and I had like a shoebox of physical photos and I was looking at
Absolutely.
like the cousin of his friend Nick or something, and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm looking at a picture of this guy, Neil, in his bathing suit.
Right.
He'd be like, why? Why do you even have that picture?
Yeah.
And so like it's this like weird world where it's like, what are we all doing? You know, like, is anyone keeping tabs on what we're doing? And I know it's, you know, really been exacerbated. But then there's the other thing of like when, you know, he, again, imagine he hasn't done this, but whatever. It's my fear fantasy. Like he posts a picture of spaghetti and meatballs and one of his ex-lovers like hearts the picture.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, at best, she's like, I like your spaghetti, right? And at worst, she likes it, and it's like, remember when I came?
Totally.
Remember when I was like riding you, like my titties are bouncing up and down, and I came?
Yeah.
When that like 8 years ago, you know? It's
Yeah,
like,
both
why
are
are you
bad.
fucking talking about his spaghetti?
Right.
But that doesn't really represent my personality anymore.
Right.
Like I kind of feel like, I just like don't care.
Right.
But I really like that bit.
No, it's funny.
But it's not really my style. Maybe that's why I
think
can't
it's
do
your,
it.
I think it's your style in the sense of like, it's a very true observation about the odd sort of like voyeuristic, like role that we allowed ourselves to slip into.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot.
Like that you can know what so many. Like I haven't seen most of my male friends with their shirts off, for example. Like,
And now you can
know,
zoom into them.
comedians aren't, like
Yeah.
pizza partying at the pool or whatever. Like I don't feel like it's happened. In fact, someone asked Gabe Liedman, like, or Max, one of us, like, what is the key to having a 20-year like best friendship? And one of them said, don't see each other in your bathing suits more than twice a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that's actually fair.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I actually know what a lot of people's like nips look like.
Right.
And that's kind of weird.
It is weird.
I'm not comfortable with it, but
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
it's almost like it's almost like the era of mystique gone.
Yeah.
There's like no mystique,
Yeah.
and nothing. Also, like just nothing feels inaccessible.
Yeah.
Everything feels like, yeah. What does that person's stomach look like? Let me find a photo
Totally.
and zoom in. You know, like,
It's so
not
weird.
right.
I don't think we should have it, but I'm
Right.
not saying anything new.
no, I know what you mean. But
know?
what's funny is with you, because you're not on social media, you are putting your money where your mouth is in terms of like making a point.
Yeah.
I don't go down this rabbit hole.
Well, it is true. I don't.
Yeah.
And like that was one of the last things that I thought of before I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Is that why? Because you were in that rabbit hole and you were like,
Oh no. It just made me feel bad in all the ways that everybody feels bad. You're not
Right.
doing a good enough job. You're not. You're ugly. You're. Everyone hates you, but everyone likes you.
Right.
How are you gonna? What is it? Like it's. I felt the pull of it. It felt like the ring, the Gollum ring.
yeah. I feel like you could do a bit where you like are arrived. I mean, this is not like the funniest part, but it's like narrative wise, like how you arrived at being
Yeah.
off of it.
Actually, that's
Because you actually are off of it.
that's really the key.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to try to remember something funny that happened and not just like all the sad stuff.
Also, like leaning into the act outs of the photos and all that.
Oh, that's really
could
funny.
be good, just because like when I watch
This
your
is good.
stand-
This
yeah,
is
it's good,
really
right?
helpful.
It's fun. Well, because like whenever I watch your stand up, I'm always like, if I worked with Jenny, I would just be like, everything you're doing that's weird, I would fucking lean into it 1,000%. You know what I mean? Whenever you're doing your sound effects or your
I love
act
that.
outs, and
That's
you're just
so
like
fun.
non sequiturs and you're like, I'm always like, I just keep going.
Oh, I feel like I'm so leaned into it that I'm lying down. Basically.
Yeah, it's rock and roll. Like
love
it's
it.
so good.
Oh, thank
so
you.
I would just like, I wouldn't give up on the bit you're saying. I would do it. But
Do
I
it.
I would explore the
Mm-hmm.
act outs of the photos, of the videos, of the whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think like you have a superpower in that I don't have, that 99% of people in comics do not have, which is you're an amazing actor. And you're an amazing improviser. So like if you live everything that you're saying, if you're passionate about the thing you're saying, it's going to pop hard.
You're blowing my mind right now. I genuinely like have been like, I'm not going to do stand up again. I think I'm done. And
You
now I
have to
just
do
want to
stand-up
do it.
again. No, you're great.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Do you have any other bits that you're like that are half premises, half ideas?
No, I want to
Okay,
hear yours.
okay.
I think I've taken too much time.
This is not great.
I'm sorry, I hate myself.
This is one that has a front but doesn't have a back, which is like I was on the subway platform with my daughter and she just turned 10 and she goes, sometimes I don't feel 10, and I go, sometimes I don't feel 47, and she goes, I don't even think of 47 as an age. I just think of it as a number I use in math class. And I wanted to just jump right in front of the train, but then I thought that would feel too causal.
Yeah, right.
Which I actually swore that I would not tell that joke publicly, but I do think it is kind of funny.
It's really funny.
But I also don't know where to go with it. But it is an odd thing when your child can't even conceptualize your age.
Yeah. Because
Like,
you know
oh,
where
wow.
I would go with it?
Yeah, where would you
It's
go?
like all the ages, and maybe you're just not like this, but like
Yeah.
there were a bunch of ages, numbers,
Yeah.
that I could know what that is. You know what I mean? Like you say 17
Yeah,
to me. I'm
I
like,
get it.
you are drinking a fountain soda.
Yep.
You have a boyfriend.
That's right.
And, you have the windows down. It's a
100%.
summer night, and
That's
you're
right.
just so cool.
100%.
95. I'm like, you can't.
Right.
I.
Right. And then even like, it's like, yeah, 23, you're old, but
Yeah.
I kind of get you.
Yeah, you're coming home. You're like, hey, Dad. They're like, oh, welcome back. Look at this guy. Like you can see that person, but it is. That's where I would go with it. Is like, what is 47?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because
yeah, what is it?
It's also, is it a prime number? It's just a super problematic
Yeah, I think
number.
it is prime number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's good.
I
She's like, I only see it as a number that is divisible by itself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of prime number trivia.
I think that's actually kind of it.
It is, right?
Yeah. They do one thing.
I wrote this also, which is your age sneaks up on you. I'm hitting that age where I'm like, I guess I'm never going to go to China for sure. You know what I mean? I think I'm not going to hit North Korea. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even think parts of Alabama are going to be on the list.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what I'm hitting though with my age for real, where I'm like, not China necessarily, but like there's certain places where I'm like, I don't think that's on the list.
yeah, you're not. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to hit it.
Yeah.
I might go to Greece.
You might.
Maybe,
I might. Maybe
but I might
will.
not. Also, I not.
Have you ever been there?
Nope.
Me neither. Yeah, and you know what else is like that for me is like it was already a slim chance that I would ski. And now it's like
Skiing is a good one.
absolutely not.
I'm out.
Snowboarding, no one ever thought that was going to happen for me.
That's right.
Weirdly, I water skied, but that's because of camp.
Hmm.
But like skiing, it's like, oh, I'll probably never dribble a basketball again.
Yeah.
Why would I?
Totally.
I only did that because they made me in school.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You know what? I think where that bit goes, if I end up doing it, is like you're saying, essentially like going into a
The list.
The list.
The list is so
Yeah.
fun.
Just the list of things. I'm not gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can really throw in some fun ones that are like weirdly almost boring.
Yeah.
But they were just already boring, so you're definitely not going to do it now because it's too boring. Or I'm like obsessed with things that are boring.
That actually makes me think of the bit that I've been doing this on stage recently, which is like when you're with someone a long time, you can say so much with so few words. Like I said, my friend was like, I want to go skydiving for my birthday and I want you to come. And I relayed this conversation to my wife. And she said, "You gonna do that?" And that's when I realized I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah.
I was like, "No,
That
no
is
way,
perfect.
no way.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
would I want to do an activity that seems so dangerous yet so fun?"
Oh my God. When we were in Cleveland, someone said to me, we're going to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on our day off. do you want to go?
Yeah.
And I genuinely, without any hesitation or trying to be funny about it, was like, I can't do that because I don't want to.
Yeah.
What, you know, like, what am I going to do? Like, see a guitar in a case?
Right.
It's not, no one's like playing, there's not a concert there, which by the way, I don't want to go to anyway because I don't like going to concerts.
Good on you
Yeah.
for the honesty on that one.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Yeah.
I can't do that because I don't want to.
I can't do that because I don't want to.
I can't do that because I don't want to.
I can do that because I don't want
Should be
to.
a fucking... All right, the last thing we do on the show is called Working It Out for a Cause. Is there a nonprofit that you like to contribute to? Because what we will do is contribute to them, link to them in the show notes, and encourage others to contribute.
Yeah, I thought about this and I was like, okay, what should I do? Like, should I ask my older sister works at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and has been working there for like, I think 20 years now.
Wow.
And she's cared for so many people. And I was like, okay, maybe I should ask her. Maybe I should ask this. And then all of a sudden I was like, NPR, man.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Like, this is, I think they're on like week, 2 or 3 maybe without federal funding.
Yeah.
I contribute to my local NPR station here, WNYC. I contribute to what used to be KPCC in LA, the LAist. I contribute to WGBH in
wow.
Boston.
Jeez.
And KCRW as well in LA. And I really,
Wow.
I genuinely fear for the world without public
Yeah.
media. I feel that it's excellent journalism, and that's where I'm at.
I think that's such a
National
great
Public
idea.
Radio, baby.
That is such a great idea. We will contribute to NPR. We will link to them in the show notes. And thank you, Jenny Slate, for coming. This is such
I
a
loved
joy.
this. Thank you for
this
having me.
This is so fun.
This was so fun and useful.
And now we're
and-
neighbors and we can talk about jokes all the time.
Yeah, this is really nice. Thank you.